CJ, the painkiller.
Kevin Jackson. So we need to start acting like a big boy football. It's time for the jetpacks to die.
You're listening to Weapons Hot on Sports War Radio and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Darnold fires one into the end zone. It is caught. That's a Jet touchdown.
And now here is your host, CJ, the painkiller, D. Simone, and Kevin Jackson.
What's going on, Jets Nation? Welcome to another edition of Weapons Hot, a New York Jets fan broadcast here on Sports War Radio and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. I am your host, CJ, the painkiller, D. Simone, and I am joined finally, as always, by my co-host, my co-pilot, one of my very best friends. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Kevin Jackson!
Listen, I'm thankful to be back, CJ. I appreciate you, bro, holding me down. You know, life happens, man. We got a lot of stuff going on here. I'm thankful. I'm in my new place now, not in the basement anymore where I was recording previously. So, you know, I'm thankful for.
So you got kicked out of the top secret bunker?
Well, yeah, you know, I kind of needed to get out of there. You know what I'm saying? I've been in the bunker, COVID, you know, the pandemic. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Able to get out in the world and actually breathe. And, you know, look, just thank you guys for being patient. I'm sorry I was gone, but, you know, things happened and I kind of had to do what I had to do. So I appreciate you guys all being here. I'm really excited about our guest today. Obviously, we don't have great football to discuss, but we do have some topics of conversation and some discussion that we can put out some pretty good content. So if everybody's there, if you're not logged in already, log in, interact, you know, throw some messages up, throw some questions out. We'll get to you. Weapons hot. Let's go. Let's get it. I'm ready.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the New York Jets keeping that tank rolling, baby. They dropped to 0-11 on the year today, dropping a 20-3 decision to division rival Miami Dolphins at JetLife Stadium. Sam Darnold, not really one of his best performances, and again, really starting to give more questions than answers. Finished the day 16 for 27 with 197 yards, 2 picks. I'm sure that he would love to have back. Sacked 3 times for 24 yards. Just a tremendous, just lackluster opportunity or lackluster day for Mr. Sam Darnold. So Ryan Fitzpatrick, however, taking over for Tua Tagovailoa, who was actually a game-time decision. He hurt his thumb during, I believe, practice. Yeah. He actually tried to warm up. And then during warm-ups, actually felt a little bit of discomfort. So Brian Flores opting to err on the side of caution, and again sidelining Tua Tagovailoa for Ryan Fitzpatrick today. So Fitzy again sticking it to the Jets as he did when he was a Buffalo Bill. You know, just again, just coming up with some good plays, coming up with some key runs to keep drives alive. For a long time, believe it or not, this game was 13-3, and there were a couple of times in the third quarter, especially when the Jets were starting to move the ball. Denzel Mims making his presence felt today. Mims tied with Brashad Perryman, 4 receptions for 67 yards. His longest was a 30-yard. He was a 30-yard catch, which was a beauty. Targeted 8 times in the game. Brashad Perryman, 4 receptions for 79 yards. His longest was a 37-yarder. That was actually on the first drive of the game. Jets had an opportunity to really do some damage. But again, you see, instead of opting for touchdowns, settling for field goals, Sergio Castillo actually left some points on the field as they were driving just before halftime. You know, again, just missed opportunities. Another winnable game for the New York Jets. You can't blame this one on the defense. The defense did all they could. They even had 2 takeaways on successive drives in the fourth quarter. Gave the Jets magnificent field position in order for them to get back into this game. And the Jets, again, could not take advantage of it. So, Kevin, your thoughts on the game. Tell me what you saw.
You know, we'll probably get into this a little bit later on in the show, but I've said this before, and I know you know that this has been a point of contention over the course of the past few weeks since I did say it. But Sam Darnold is actually moving towards Geno Smith level of poor play. And I don't say that lightly. And I do mean what it is that I say when I say it. Sam is a better quarterback. There's no question. But what it is that we're seeing from Sam Darnold right now is approaching some of what it is that we saw from Geno Smith. And now that, I guess we'll go into detail later on. But the defense today, man, if I could ever tell you, it looks like we've got some guys that are ready to play. Quinnen Williams is lights out right now. I'm so thankful that we're actually seeing him round into the shape that we expected that he was going to round into when we drafted him so early, especially after, having so many questions about where was Q. John Q, he's missing. We can't find him, right? But there is no doubt. Ryan Fitzpatrick knew where he was today because he was in the backfield quite a bit. He was in Fitzy's lap most of the day. So I'm really excited about that. I also saw some things from the cornerbacks that they're young guys, obviously, but look, they're kind of making some plays. We're obviously a little short on talent, man. We can't really argue that right now. And it's going to be interesting to see what Joe Douglas does as far as personnel decisions, not just in the offseason, but coming up in the draft, because we've got quite a few picks. We've got some early picks, and we've got some money. So the game today was kind of what I expected. I was hoping that we would see a little bit more out of Sam, but to be perfectly honest with you, I think we're getting from Sam what this team and this organization has put into him, which is trash. He's got bad coaching. He's got a very, very limited supporting staff. Even though we're actually seeing a little bit more out of Mims, it seems like they completely forgot about Jamison Crowder. Sam has missed a couple of throws. I just got to be honest with you. A lot of that, like I said, as much as we could probably throw on Adam Gase, and we probably will, as deserving as he is of what he gets. Sam is just not playing well right now, man. And it's disappointing. It's tragic because I do believe that the organization has put this really promising kid in a position where he is taking so many steps back that it is, and I think it's probably been beyond a time where he's going to need to turn the page. He's going to need to move on. So I don't want to try to take all the light. I know we got some guys on, but what I expected, I thought we were actually going to be able to put up maybe a little more, maybe at least a touchdown today. But the fact that now we've gone almost 20 quarters with no touchdowns from Sam or from this offense. This is it's not from the offense, excuse me, from Sam, pardon me. Because Joe Flacco actually looked good. I'm expecting to see Joe Flacco within the next couple of games. That's it for me. We'll get into it a little more, but I'm really interested to see what the guys think. Dan and Mark, glad to have you guys here with us today. Thank you.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, let's introduce our two guests. First off, directly right underneath me, former host of Jets podcast with Rick Loughlin on 24/7 Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Daniel Feuerstein is in the house. Daniel?
Good.
How's it going, brother?
Doing all right. Feeling pretty good. Glad to be back with you on your show. I will definitely say that, Sam has had some bad games. Unfortunately, he just came back from healing up from that shoulder injury that he suffered a couple of weeks ago. That's why Joe Flacco took over. Maybe a little bit of rust, maybe just a little bit of a touch of rust there. But I have to say that once again, Sam Darnold has had his weapons taken away from him by Joe Douglas, a general manager who you would like to think he's a general manager, but the truth is, who gave him the job after he forced out Mike McCagnon? Adam Gase. I like to think that, I believe that Joe Douglas is being told what he has to do to either get rid of or bring in players that do not fit this team at all. And all I can say is that when you get rid of weapons like Robbie Anderson, like Le'Veon Bell, because whether you don't like him because you gave him too much money in free agency, or He's been disrespecting you on the field, which is not true. All I can say is that you're going to deplete Sam Darnold of the talent around him right now, lack thereof, and he will not be a successful nor a positive progressing quarterback. You know, I will say this, Geno Smith, when he was at least a decent quarterback and also not doing the same things that he was earlier on in his career, he had weapons around him. He had weapons. Running the ball, throwing the ball. The tight end was used.
Yeah.
The tight end for Adam Gase is like a rash.
Yep,
he doesn't want to use it. He doesn't want to use a tight end. I mean, we saw last week against the LA Chargers / San Diego Chargers. He was targeted 3 times, caught 2 balls. One of them was a touchdown. And you would like to think to yourself, okay, maybe, Chris Herndon, the tight end, would be better and ready to go for this game against Miami. Where was he? Nowhere, because they didn't throw the ball to him. They used him as a blocking tight end. Ryan Griffin, same thing, blocking tight end. Why are we not using the tight end position? The New York Jets has not used the tight end position since Austin Seferian-Jenkins.
Wow. Yep.
And, it's just mind-boggling that Gase has not used him properly. Why? The tight end is an offensive weapon that you can use to throw the ball, attack the opposition, and go a touchdown. He was used properly in Todd Bowles' last season as the head coach of this Jets team. Adam Gase, tight ends. Where are the tight ends? Yeah. Oh, yeah, there they are.
Take a look at what he did in Miami with Mike Gesicki. I mean,
Exactly.
Mike Gesicki, tremendous catching tight end, a tremendous offensive weapon, tremendous red zone threat, was pretty much diminished during his tenure over in Miami, where essentially he was only being used for max protect. And, one of the biggest things is, especially on the offensive line, when you're running a 2 tight end set and it's strictly for max protect in the backfield for passing, you know what you're eliminating, right? You're eliminating an extra body running free, which means you're eliminating an extra target for your quarterback to throw the ball.
You're actually removing a mismatch.
Right.
And CJ, we talked about this earlier when I asked just point blank, where's Herndon? We talked about coming into the season about how Herndon was probably going to be the X factor to how this offense actually performed. And he's disappeared. You take away a guy that has an immediate mismatch against any linebacker, even a safety, to be perfectly honest with you, is probably not going to be able to run with him. And you remove also that secondary check down for Sam when he's actually doing his check down. So, then that's a fantastic point. The fact that we don't have the tight end, that's a huge problem for us. And again, it's going to come back to Adam Gase. I'm sure we'll get back to that soon.
Well, let me just continue real quick. You had Ryan Griffin coming in last year. How many touchdowns did he score last year? You would have to say at least 5, 6 touchdowns at least. At least he was available to be wide open and, make the plays, go down the field, get the touchdowns. And now you only use him for pass protection. I mean, look in the Monday night game against New England. You didn't have to throw that ball to Mims in double coverage. Who was wide open for 6 yards?
Right.
Griffin.
There were 3 different receivers.
Ryan freaking Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's wide open. You don't have to go for the long bomb.
Bad.
Yeah. So, all right. So now I want to introduce the man directly to my left, all right, from the Worldwide Sports Radio Network as one of their special guest correspondents. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mark Kelly. Mr. Kelly, it is a pleasure to have you back on, my friend. It's been way too long. How are you doing?
Good. I'm disappointed I didn't get the mid-'80s NBC baseball intro that Kevin got. I feel a little slighted here. I mean, come on.
If you ever get a weapons hot introduction, boy, you've definitely been introduced. That's for sure.
Get the updated NBA on NBC theme.
Oh, the next time you come on, I'm going to download that music, and that's going to be yours.
That's it.
Definitely.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So, Mark, give us your 2 cents worth over here because I'm very curious to hear what you have to say.
I'm listening to what you guys are saying, and it's hard to kind of encapsulate everything that's gone on this year. You and I were talking before. There was a point maybe in training camp that there was some thought into having a serious season this year, that they were going to try and put players on the field to compete. That went away early. And I have faith in Joe Douglas because he had built a winner before. That's something this organization usually doesn't go out and hire successful people. They usually try and find someone, and they never do. They're amazing. They're like, oh, for 400. We're trying to find the next guy. But I don't really expect much from Sam because he has everything taken away from him. The Jets have pretty much done everything they can do to make sure he fails. And that's where I really feel bad for him because I think he's got talent. I think early on in the first year with the Jets, there was like a 4 or 5 game stretch where he played pretty well against the Broncos at home, against the Colts at home. Where he threw 3 touchdowns, no picks. It looked like he was coming along. And then when Adam Gase comes into it, I look, there is nothing good that this guy has brought to this franchise. And that's saying a lot when you consider all the morons that we've had come and go as head coaches and general managers. So
absolutely.
What I like about Douglas is, at some point during the season, he said, forget it. I'm going to get rid of the guys as I can. The Jets have 7 draft picks in each of the next 2 years in the first 3 rounds, each of the first 3 rounds. Okay. That's where you build your franchise. And it's never been done before, at least in my lifetime, where the Jets just said, okay, forget it. We are rebuilding. We're going to go through the draft. We're going to put all that we can into developing guys for the next couple of years and putting themselves in position to do that. Usually in New York, any kind of throwing up your hands in defeat is seen as, well, I mean, the Jets can't be any worse. So I'm glad to see they're at least trying to build the right way, because as you've seen with the Dolphins, last year the Dolphins beginning of the year were awful. This year they're one of the better teams, if not up there, similar with Buffalo in the AFC East. So you can rebuild it fast. You just have to know what you're doing. And I would give Douglas the next 2 drafts, and we'll see what I think he did a pretty good job taking draft picks this year. So if 2-3 years from now they're still in this position, I don't think they will be, then we can complain. But I think Douglas is the first guy to have the guts to go and rebuild this from the bottom. And that's, I think, at the end of the year, if Gase isn't fired, if the house isn't totally clean, then I'll be a little pissed. But I think to give him the chance to do that, and starting with next year and then the year after, we'll start to see players actually develop, which we haven't seen in a long time. Me and JJ were talking. I don't know what Jet head coach outside of Parcells has actually developed their draft picks into Pro Bowl players. And it would be nice to see the next coach we have come in here be able to do that. I trust Douglas with that more than I trusted just about any other general manager that's come through.
Can I just respond to that? Can I just respond to that, please?
Yeah, Daniel, go ahead.
Because listen, I understand where Mark is coming from, and look, that's what we needed to do. We need to, rebuild this team. We need to go forward and get rid of whatever, players that were not good, get rid of them and bring in new players. But didn't we just rebuild the last 2 years with the McCagnon and Bowles era? After Fitzpatrick led to that 10-6 season.
Rebuild. Mike McCagnon.
Didn't we rebuild already? Didn't we just rebuild this team? Didn't we just rebuild this team? I mean, why are we rebuilding again? Why? When you had Mike McCagnon, when you had Mike McCagnon, okay, look, you had Mike McCagnon rebuild this team after Fitzpatrick goes 10-6 in the first year. Second year, that's Bowles' fault because he couldn't handle the personalities of Brandon Marshall, who was having an internal fight with both Muhammad Wilkerson and Sheldon Richardson. And it was really those two on defense that started the fight, that tore down what was supposed to be a better year, that we were supposed to go and make the playoffs. And unfortunately, Todd Bowles could not handle those big personalities, and that destroyed everybody. Everybody. And then you had to go 4-11, 4-12, whatever. And then the next 2 years, okay, we're rebuilding. All right, we're rebuilding. Then Bowles gets fired. Maccagnan stays. You hire Gase. And what does Maccagnan do? I want to bring over free agents. I want to bring in Crowder. I want to bring in Bell. I want to bring in this guy. I want to bring in that guy. I want to bring in CJ Mosley. And then it's like, you know what? The rebuild is over. Rebuilding again?
No.
You telling me that nobody is pissed off, fucking pissed off,
I
that
agree.
you have a season, a second half of last year to go 6-2, you finished 7-9, and then you have all this crap happening, and now we're gonna have 0-16. I mean, I'm not going against you.
Yeah.
It's eventually gonna happen. We're gonna go 0-16. I understand that. I'm not rooting for it. But I'm realizing it's going to happen. But I'm very pissed off, and every other Jet fan should be pissed off that here we go again. A promising second half of last year to go 6-2. You end up 7-9. Okay, where are the weapons for Sam? Gone. I understand Jamal Adams kicked and screamed like a little fucking baby out of here. CJ Mosley, he opted out because of the coronavirus situation. I understand that. It's okay. But then you get rid of Robbie Anderson, or you don't even attempt to keep Robbie Anderson, and he goes to Carolina to his former college head coach. Bell now wants out. You kicked him out. Avery Williamson is now gone because the season is shit, and no one is upset because all we're worried about is the number 1 overall pick. I understand all that, but I'm pissed off.
Yeah,
I'm fucking pissed off.
Yeah,
we had a chance to improve.
All right, I had to pull back a little bit then, and I'm going to keep it real because I was where you were before we started the cast today, and I'm just going to say this: going back to the whole point of the rebuild, the reality is that the people that we had entrusted to rebuild had no clue how to build anything, and that's most definitely exemplified by that Mike Maccagnan draft, where there's not even one of the players literally made. Did they even make the team that season? Or they were
was that Maccagnan or was that?
I'm still saying they need to do a 30 for 30 on that draft. They need to because there's some stories, and I'm sure they can find them guys at the local Publix or the local car wash because they're still there because they weren't football players. Now this is my point. We spent a lot of time, we spent a lot of effort. The 10-6 season was a mirage. We knew that, and at least I called that. We talked about that very, very seriously. Why would you do that? Me in particular, just discussing the contracts from that year, I personally said we should have, if we were really truly going to rebuild and we really had done the necessary self-scouting to know what it is that we needed to do, we would have kept Snacks and we would have shipped Wilkerson's ass out of here quicker than tell you whatever. Because that's what we should have done.
No, you're absolutely right.
You're absolutely right about the Todd Bowles thing. Also, Todd Bowles. Even I have to give credit to Todd Bowles for keeping a lid on things after the Geno Smith thing. But I'm just going to be honest with you. I think he went too far because I personally think that instead of allowing Fitz to continue, if we're trying to build a team, especially through our draft and with our draft picks, and I get a lot of flack for this, but I keep saying we should have let Geno play. Because that's the same instance that we're having this season where we have all of these guys who are not going to be part of the equation going forward. We could have literally answered the question, could this kid play? When you gave him the tools. We should have done that. And I still believe that that's what we should have been doing. We're getting to that point now, but I think we're getting to that point now because we kind of have no veteran personnel. Because Joe Douglas has been giving all these guys the golden parachutes, and I'm thankful that he did that for them. Steve McClendon put him on a winner. Avery Williamson put him on a winner. Yeah, Le'Veon Bell put him on a winner. He put all of these guys on teams that are going to be in the playoffs.
No, I understand that. So
that's
just frustrating.
It is frustrating because this is the thing, and CJ will tell you at the beginning of the year we talked about these. We talked about this team. We talked about this coaching staff. We talked about all of the players who were supposed to make an impact and who were supposed to give us that hope that this team was going to be able to play. And CJ will tell you again, because I think we both echoed this kind of same thing. The X factor beyond the players, the X factor is Adam Gase.
Right.
Adam Gase is a horrible coach. He's a
Yes.
horrible student for all of these players. Again, we had Le'Veon Bell, one of the best running backs, just still in my opinion, to do it over the course of the past how many other seasons.
Exactly.
And now he's literally sitting on somebody else's bench because same as we did with Sam, I'm not gonna say we ruined him because I think he still has talent, but
No, he does.
we cast doubts on if the kid can still play. We cast doubts on that. We're talking about one of the best players statistically before coming here in NFL history, and we cast doubts on if the kid could play. Now,
here's
situation with Sam Darnold, we spent all of that capital to go up to draft him and to bring him here, and then we did everything that we could to strip down everything around him. I said before, Sam Darnold doesn't need safety blankets. Sam Darnold needs weapons, and we haven't given him weapons. Not only have we not given him weapons, but the guy who's supposed to be teaching him tactically how to attack has no clue how to attack at all.
That's right.
That's right.
They handed Sam. What did you say, Kevin? They handed Sam a couple of pea shooters and a fucking slingshot.
Two slingshots in the 22. We wanted to give him a bazooka. We wanted to give him, bombs, tanks. We wanted to give him weapons, and we gave him stuff that'll scratch the skin and maybe cause a little irritation, and that's it. And as of right now, that's really the fact of the matter is that at this point in time, I think really the focus should be on what Joe Douglas is going to do going forward. Because I mean, his first draft, literally with the team, was a hit.
I agree.
He's made some serious mistakes in free agency.
Yes.
I'm going to give that. He's made some serious mistakes in free agency, beginning with not bringing Robbie back.
That's right.
All right, really quick. Hang on a second, guys. I want to get some of these comments on the air. Again, anybody who's watching the broadcast right now, you'd like to chime in, just go right into the comments section and, put your comment in, and we will definitely get them on the air. I lost the first set of comments when I actually refreshed, unfortunately. But I did want to give a shout out, Jocka T. His name is actually Sergeant Thomas from the 45th Medical Group. Yeah. If y'all had a deep threat and a running game, the Jets could afford to make that end a blocker. True. I could agree with that. He also chimed in with the Jets need some Bama in their life with Mac Jones and D. Smith. Well, we already got some Quinnen Williams, and today Q had himself a day making his presence felt. So he really got himself a day. They got a little Bama in their life. They just need to up their game a little bit. Shout out to Warren Rohan. No more excuses for Sam. Everyone has seen enough. Dude, I am now at that point where, you know what? I agree with you. I cannot defend Sam anymore. We can't continually blame the offensive line. I mean, there's only so much that we could blame on the coaching. There's only so much that we could blame on the play calling. Eventually, you got to make a play. If you really want to be a good quarterback in this league, you have to pull your head out of your ass and make a play. Sam, unfortunately, did not do that.
Well, who leads that? Gase. Right. And the play calling, Dowell Loggins. It's really simple.
Well,
Look, I understand that Sam's got to improve everything.
Playbook, so
I understand Sam's got to improve himself, and I understand that. But the point is that the offensive line has been built poorly, except for Becton, who's fantastic. How do you have a 38-year-old running back being your lead running back? How is that possible? How?
Right.
How? So, and we don't have a coach. I know that guy who popped in, who just left. We know we don't have a head coach. We know that because he sucked in Miami, sucks here. He's an idiot. He tries to be a fake Belichick and doesn't know how to get his own head out of his own ass.
Look, this is probably going to be a recurring theme. We're going to touch on this quite a few times over the course of the rest of the show.
I know.
What we have right now, as far as player personnel is concerned, is really it's the effects of drafting poorly for 7 or 8 years now, right? So I mean, we're going back to Idzik, we're going back to McCadden, we're really going back to why we are as depleted as we are with no foundational talent. We're also getting to a point, and Mark made this point, I think, really presciently earlier when he said we can't get guys past their first contract. I mean, we get first round draft picks, and how many of them are here? None of them. Second round, we've been atrocious in the second round. save for Marcus May, and hopefully, fingers crossed and toes crossed and eyes crossed and everything else, that Denzel Mims will be the one to kind of continue with that streak. But
yes, absolutely.
We've been so bad at the top of the draft. Quinnen, I think what is Quinnen going to be like maybe one of the first round draft picks that will actually offer a second round contract to, because Sam ain't going to make it. Jamal Adams is out of here. Come on, these are the guys that we spent, top 5 draft picks on, and they're not even with the team. Are you kidding me? Yeah, we've got deep rooted organizational problems to overcome. And this again, again, where I don't want to throw any blind loyalty behind Joe Douglas, but Joe Douglas has done some things that make me, want to at least give him another year before we say, his third year is going to be the year that's going to make or break him here. I mean, you really got to.
If there's somebody's opinion that I want to get, it's our next guest, who is now just joined the show.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the host of the Snowman in the Morning radio show on Snowman Digital Media, Mr. Brian Snow, ladies and gentlemen. So, Brian, before I get your 2 cents worth, I want to finish reading these comments really quick because quite a few came through for the flurry. And by the way, before I get to the comments, I hope things are starting to settle down on your end. And please give our thoughts and prayers to Dr. K. Tell her we're thinking of her and we love her very much.
Will do.
All right. So now, want to get back to the comments. Florencio Rodriguez, shout out to him. JD didn't build a winning team this year. I would think a third-year quarterback should have had a better team around him to better gauge his status to gauge his long-time status for Sam.
I agree.
JD should be facing the media and taking some heat for our lack of success. Florencio, he actually did a couple of weeks ago when he was on the Michael K show, after he was finished with the print media, he came onto the Michael K show, and you know what? Michael, Don, and Peter put Joe Douglas through the grill, and he flat out took the responsibility for underestimating the market out there for Robbie Anderson. He admits that that a lot of the free agent acquisitions did not work out the way he had hoped for. So, he did take some. Now, at the end of the season, he is going to have to take a lot more. Don't think that he's out of the woods. But see, the only thing that could save Joe Douglas right now is for Adam Gase to be fired. Like, as soon as the clock hits 000 at the Patriots game, that Joe Douglas kicks in the locker room door and tells him to get the fuck out. Walk home from fucking Foxborough. Okay? I mean, him, the entire coaching staff, save for Brant Broyer and Hines Ward. Those are the only 2 people I'd retain. That's the only way for him to save face at this point. Because here's something else. And then, Snowman, I'm dying to get your opinion on this. But I want to get through the comments, and then I want to get to my point. Sergeant Thomas, again, chiming in. Your rebuild was trash. Yeah, no shit. We figured that out. Joshua Kyle, shout out to him. He's already chiming in. Douglas already met with the media and took responsibility. Good Bama and Williams, bad and D Milliner. Yeah, no shit. They've been scrubbing vaginitis out of the Jets locker room for the past 5 years after he left. But that's a whole nother story. I could do a separate show just on that. So I don't want to get started on that. Okay?
Don't forget our Darius Stewart either.
Right. Warren W. Rohan chimed back in. Coach sucks, but Sam is not helping himself. Completely agree. Joshua come back in. Sam's still making rookie mistakes in year 3. Yes, exactly. But you know what? 50% of it falls on Sam. The other 50% of it falls on coaching. So the Jets organization has thoroughly failed Sam Darnold, and today's game was a complete indictment of it. Kevin Jackson, again, our host over here, I still feel like if JD isn't able to choose the next coach, they'll both be gone after the next 2 years. Dude, if JD is not going to be able to pick the next Jets head coach, if I'm JD, I kick Woody Johnson in the fucking balls and say, I quit. You will fucking eat the rest of my contract.
Absolutely. I don't want either a shirts party either. I don't want, going out and getting these other executives to hire guys Anybody that does that is a moron.
Yeah.
Because if
Right,
you
and this
can't
is-
hire the right guy, if you need
This
a
is-
search committee, you're already lost.
This is the point that I wanted to make before I wanted to finish off. And then, Brian, I swear I'm going to get to you. I did not forget about you. Okay?
Got him. No.
The one thing here, okay, when in regards to the New York Jets, the reason why I want this team to go 0-16 is because I want the Johnsons to be thoroughly embarrassed. I want them to be so embarrassed that when they show their faces in public, that people laugh at them. They laugh at them for being absolute buffoons of owners. They laugh at them because of Adam Gase's failure, in which Chris Johnson doubled down at 0-4 and said, we're not firing Adam Gase. I want them to be the laughing stock of the NFL, more so than they already are. I want that 0-16 record. And if that makes me a bad fan, then so be it. You know why? Because I am sick and tired of the New York Jets' current power structure. It hasn't worked for the past decade. They know it doesn't fucking work. And the Jets are right up there if you go in Webster's dictionary and you see the definition of insanity. And you see a picture of Woody and Christopher Johnson like this. Okay? You know why? Because they consistently do shit that causes this franchise to fail. Okay? And as a fan for 40 plus years of this franchise, Mark can attest to it, Kevin can attest to it, Daniel can attest to it. Okay? We are tired of the excuses. We are tired of the failures. Either fix it or get the fuck out. Plain and simple. And Adam Gase needs to have that 0-16 on his coaching record.
Look,
Do you know why? Because I want him, when this season is over, to be like fucking plutonium, that nobody will go near him for the next 10,000 years. Do you know why? Quarterback guru, offensive genius. This man can't coach his way out of a fucking paper bag that's wet with directions.
And don't take Peyton Manning's phone calls.
Okay? Another thing too. Okay, everybody keeps talking with their short list. Oh, here's my short list for head coaching candidates. Let's go get Jim Harbaugh. Let's go get Matt Patricia. I saw that on Facebook. I wanted to throw up.
No, somebody said that.
Oh, let's go get Bill
You want to know who else
O'Brien.
said that? You want to know who else said that about Matt Patricia? She's a lovely girl. She's a lovely girl, but she was wrong in this. Howie Rose's daughter, the Mets radio play-by-play voice. His daughter said, I would like to see Matt Patricia head coach Trevor Lawrence. Wrong. I respectfully disagree with her because there's no way that fraud of a head coach coming from the not so successful Bill Belichick tree should ever.
This is the thing that I want. This is the thing that I want in the next New York Jets head coach. And Woody Johnson, Christopher Johnson, your fucking interns that watch every single Jets fan podcast out there and every single broadcast, get out your pen and paper and take some fucking notes. Okay? Sometimes the big sexy name is not the way to go. You don't go and hire independent consultants to go find your next fucking head coach. Do you know why? Because they don't have your business best interest at hand.
Absolutely.
Okay? They are interested in saying, we're the guy that got so-and-so the job at the New York Jets organization. Fuck that, buddy. Do you know what I want? I want somebody who's going to come in here and who is going to build a successful and sustainable football program. If it takes 1 year, if it takes 5 years, I don't give a shit how long it takes. Don't bring me a Jim Harbaugh. Don't bring me a Greg Roman. Don't bring me some other fucking retread who failed at this place and now all of a sudden, ooh, the Jets are going to give him a chance. He's going to get to resurrect his career. I don't fucking want that. Go get me a Joe Brady. Go get me an Eric Bieniemy. Go get me a Robert Saleh. Okay? Reach out to Georgia's offensive coordinator, Todd Monken. Go reach out to him. Go reach out to Dan Mullen from Florida. Go get me a guy who's got a proven track record to build a football program and knows how to build it from the ground up. And you attach that person to Joe Douglas. You let Joe Douglas make that hire, and you let the head coach pick his staff. It's a very simple formula. The rest of the NFL has been doing it for 100 plus fucking years. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel and do things in the best interest of your business and your franchise. Do you know why? Because people like me, people like Daniel, people like Kevin, people like Mark, we are the ones that invest in this business. We are the ones that invest our time and our money.
No dough.
So for once,
Upside
do
down.
right by us.
Snowman's upside down.
It's
Okay.
upside down now.
No dough for me.
So now,
He went down the
Brian,
hole.
Brian,
Alice in
it is your
Wonderland.
turn, my friend.
I thought it was Snowman's
Please.
turn.
Please chime in. And thank you for giving me the opportunity for the rant.
First of all, that rant was long overdue because I know, CJ, you've been holding back for the longest. Second, all I have to say to my dear friend Mark Kelly is AJ Duhey, and I'll make his face turn red.
Shots
Because
fired.
I teased him. No, I say it playfully because I teased him the last time I had him on my program. Third of all, everything you guys said about what the Jets need to do, must do, and to a very long point should have done is correct. You would think, oh, and I'm going to take a huge shot at Belichick. See, Bill Belichick thinks he's the late, great Bill Walsh or Bill Parcells because he got a lot of his old assistant coaches hired at other gigs.
How'd that work
There's
out?
a problem. There's a huge problem with that. See, Bill Walsh's coaching tree actually was successful and actually won a couple Super Bowls on their own, while Bill Belichick is the fellow who holds all the rings but none of the pedigree.
And the cameras.
Okay? And cameras. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Daniel, to your point about Howie Rose, and I say this jokingly, don't put that in the book again, please.
It was his daughter, actually, not him.
I'm still putting it on Howie Rose because his daughter did say it.
Yes.
Because people joke around with me when my daughter says stuff when I'm on the air. So even Steven. To the current Jets, if you want to call them the current Jets, I don't even have to ask what the hell happened. I don't even need to think about what the hell happened because I already know what the hell happened. You face Ryan Fitzpatrick and you got kicked in the nuts again. And as unfortunate as it is for Jets fans, it happens way too often. It happens way too often. And first of all, they should have never hired Adam Gase. And Mark, you and I talked about this. They should have never hired Adam Gase in the first place. Todd Bowles actually had a little bit of success, but wasn't given a chance to build on it. I mean, a longer leash to build on it. There has been no success with Adam Gase. None. They give, and I'll echo a point that Kevin said. Instead of supplying Sam Darnold with weapons, they supplied him with pea shooters that are unloaded, that are not loaded anyway. And why are you running a 37-year-old running back more than 10 times?
At all.
At all. Thank you, KJ. Why are you running a 37-year-old running back at all when you got a rookie that can be your bell cow? Okay, once upon a time, Frank Gore. Yep. I mean, once upon a time, Frank Gore was the bell cow in San Francisco, but this ain't San Francisco. And their bell cow came back today and helped us win, but I digress. This Jets team needs to act like Wile E. Coyote, get a bunch of explosives, attach 100-foot wire,
Sorry.
push the plunger, and blow that sumbitch up.
Facts.
They should have pushed the plunger and blown this sumbitch up after Mark Sanchez was your quarterback.
It was all downhill.
Because after Mark Sanchez engineered an upset over top-seeded San Diego, and this is after the 2 times they went to the AFC Championship. The following year, engineered an upset over top-seeded San Diego. And yes, to me, it's still the San Diego Chargers. That's for you, Mark. It's been a downward spiral. And nothing has worked. Nothing will work. And getting rid of Adam Gase is only a part of the problem. Bring some players in that actually give a damn. Like I said, get a bunch of dynamite, get a plunger, about 1,000-foot cord away from MetLife Stadium, and push the plunger.
You can throw MetLife Stadium in there.
No, you could throw MetLife Stadium in there. As a matter of fact,
Throw MetLife Stadium in there too.
Listen, I'll even volunteer to tie Woody and Chris to fucking chairs and put them right on the 50-yard line, and you could blow all that shit up too.
Absolutely.
Okay, you could take them too.
This is. I think this may be kind of a, I don't know if it's an abstract kind of a recognition, but are we talking about CJ when you said that Chris and Woody Johnson shouldn't be able to go anywhere without being ridiculed? But
right,
them guys aren't football guys. The circles that they move in, nobody gives a shit about that.
Right.
Nobody goes, how much is it worth?
Listen to me. This is the point. This is the point that I'm making. Okay, it took Leon Hess to go 1-15 with Rich Kotite before he broke down and he reached out to Bill Parcells.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And you remember what he said when he hired Kotite?
And Bill Parcells.
I'm old. I want to win now. I mean, give me a break. So he had like a mental breakdown after that whole thing. I think everyone's kind of having a mental breakdown because Adam Gase will make you have a mental breakdown. He will make you delve into your unconscious so deep that you will need therapy for a long, long time if you really start to wonder why you started rooting for this team to begin with.
Yeah.
0-16 has us all drinking.
I had to deal with it with my beloved 49ers for the better part of 7 years.
Yeah, but CJ, I have a question for you.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
CJ, I got a question for you because I know you said that Harbaugh is a retread, okay, Jim Harbaugh. However, there have been college coaches who have been successful in the pros, went to college and were not good, just like Saban was not a good pro coach, but he's an excellent college coach. Harbaugh, whenever he only had one job, and that was turning around a 49er team that was god-awful with Alex Smith, was god-awful. And he turned them completely around. He got them to the championship game and the Super Bowl. So I would trust him more than I would trust. The one thing that I don't like that the Jets never hit on is whether it's Coslet, Carroll, or Herm Edwards, or Mangini, or Rex Ryan, or Todd Bowles, or list after list of the next guy theory to them just doesn't work. I like Bieniemy. I think he'd be a good choice, but I've seen too many failures of the next guy theory. If they're the only guy that they've had success with was a guy who had been to the Super Bowl and won it in Parcells. Now there's no other guy like an Andy Reid out there to hire right now that you can get. If Harbaugh's brother was available, I would take him. But there's no one else other than Jim Harbaugh who is won at this level. And the reason why he left was because he wanted to go to Michigan, not because he really failed. I wouldn't mind Harbaugh if that's what they get, because he's a guy that has proven and he's won in the pros.
Dan, just one thing before I let you jump in. The one thing about Harbaugh, if we are to try to go down that road with Harbaugh, then that means Joe Douglas is gone, because Harbaugh is that guy that wants, he wants the full
Total
control.
control.
He wants
total
to
autonomy.
buy the groceries and
Yeah, but why would he do that? He just blew that up. He just messed that up royally in Michigan.
Yeah, but I mean, I still don't think he takes this job. And CJ will tell you this: the jet tax is a reality.
It is.
If Harbaugh comes here, Harbaugh wants total control. I'm sorry, Dan. I hope I didn't steal your thunder.
No, not really. I mean, well, the truth is, we're both on the same page because, well, here's the thing, though. It's not that he wanted to go back to Michigan. The general manager who he worked with wanted him out.
Yeah.
That's the situation. The general manager of the Niners, and Snowman, you can contend this. I mean, Jim Harbaugh took your Niners to 3 straight NFC conference
title games.
And one of them was a Super Bowl appearance against the Baltimore Ravens and Joe Flacco.
Yep.
When he had Kaepernick on the Niners, I told all my friends at that time, if there's any head coach that I would have liked to see the Jets go after, it would have been Jim Harbaugh. It really would have been, because the man knows football. He knows how he wants it done. I mean, look, he's a former professional quarterback. Of course he wants to run the whole thing. It's his, we're going to do the plays my way or you can go on the highway, because Jim Harbaugh is at least a lot better at handling a football team than what Adam Gase has done. Because Adam Gase assumes he's a
man. Look, Adam Gase is a joke.
He's a very big joke,
and he was a joke in Miami. He's a bigger joke now.
Exactly. He'll
and
be forever.
I leave y'all with this. I feel so sorry for Bob Wischusen.
Yes.
The radio voice of the New York Jets.
Mm-hmm.
For putting up with this shit every week.
I
feel so sorry.
Marty Glickman.
What about Marty Lyons? Marty Lyons must want to tear his hair out in the booth sitting there.
Whatever's left.
You know what, Marty? I feel for both. I feel for both of them. And I even had someone ask me this past weekend if an opportunity came open with the Jets to replace Bob Wischusen, would I take it? My answer is no, for 2 reasons.
Oh, why?
One, no, I wouldn't. And I have 2 reasons. One, I love Bob Wischusen, and I love hearing it, and I love hearing his voice. Secondly, the only person that I would replace, or the 2 that I would replace should the opportunities come up, would either be replacing Jeff Joniak if he retired in Chicago, or Greg Papa if he retired in San Francisco. That's it. And another thing I have to consider is my family. We just got settled here in North Carolina, and we're fighting years to pick up and move again. So,
you take Amtrak up here. It's not a big deal.
So you don't jump.
Charlotte or Raleigh, it's up to you.
I said where my dream jobs are. I said where my dream jobs are, and I'm busy building one here in North Carolina, so I can't complain.
Get money.
Good for you.
I cannot complain. All right, fellas, I got to scoot. I got some prep to do for my show tomorrow, and I'm going to bed.
Appreciate you, B.
All right, Snowman, before you take off, just give out all your social media information so fans of Weapons Hot can follow you. And, of course, you can, in fact, find Weapons Hot on Snowman Digital Media, courtesy of my man.
That you can. The replay comes 90 minutes after the show completes. Snowmandigitalmedia.com is where you can find everything. And Snowman in the Morning, now live on the SDM Sports Network, sdmsportsnetwork.com, beginning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And I take you through a full 4 and take you to your lunch hour.
Nice. All right, brother man. Thank you again. Please give our love to Dr. K. Tell her that what you're thinking of her. All right, go get some rest, my
guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, B.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Brian Snow, host of the Snowman in the Morning podcast from Snowman Digital Media. So, guys, really quick, I want to slide on into our next segment here, as our show's running a little bit longer than I expected, but that's okay, because when the content is good, we like to keep it rolling. So we're going to start with Daniel. Because it looks like Mark is very in tune to watching the Mandalorian that I hear in the background over there.
Oh, I got no.
So.
Somebody.
This last episode
I
was a
just
good
want my
one, though.
lightsaber. That's all I
Yes.
want.
This last episode was a good one, though.
Yeah, it's the last episode.
Oh,
Absolutely kicked ass.
Been catching up on Saved by the Bell. Oh.
I just want a lightsaber. That's all I want. I just want to build one and take it
A
home.
real one.
That's
right?
it.
Get my lightsaber. But before you ask me that question, this is hopefully you guys can hear this, but this is for Adam Gase.
My intelligence, IQ 207.
There we go.
He's Coyote genius, right?
That's right.
Coyote genius.
Offensive dunce.
You genius, you. Yeah.
Dunce. Man.
All right, so
The truth,
Daniel, we're going to start with you. Talk to me about Sam Darnold, and do you think he's the future of the Jets? Do you think he's the future franchise quarterback of the Jets? And if not, where do you think he ends up next year?
Well, let me just say this. I do feel bad for Sam Darnold. I feel very bad for him because whatever weapons he had has been torn away. I personally believe that he should still be here. He should be the future quarterback of this New York Jets team. Now, my thing is this, and this is my point. While he should be fired, Adam Gase, the truth is we don't really trust either Woody or Christopher Johnson to make that call. They better make that call because I'm telling you right now, I know that Trevor Lawrence watches these things. He knows what the records are. I mean, Jacksonville, if they didn't get that 2-point conversion, that game's probably into overtime against Cleveland. Then they would have gotten the second win. And then the Jets would still have 0 wins and everything. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is coming here. Or even if he does go to the draft, and even if he does get drafted by the Jets, I could see him going to some sort of microphone and announce to the world, New York Jets, trade me now. Because I don't believe he's coming here. And I do believe he is going to stay in college. He will stay at Clemson for his senior year. So then what else are we going to do? You're going to cut Sam Darnold? You're going to draft Trevor Lawrence? And then he says, no, I'm not coming? I mean, this is a situation where you got to keep him. Now, I know it sounds like it's not a good idea, but if you get rid of Adam Gase and you turn things around, then I believe with the proper weapons around him in free agency, if you let Joe Douglas do his job, I think Sam Darnold will be that franchise quarterback that I believe he still can be. But right now, we don't know what the thing is. I personally believe he can still be that franchise quarterback. But I don't make the decisions on the Jets. So I'm already expecting him, not saying I want it, but I'm already expecting him to be either released or go to a team that needs a starting quarterback who needs a fresh start. I would like for Sam to stay and get a better head coach to help him become better. I wish they would bring back Josh McCown to be his quarterback's coach. Wow. That he did well with him in his rookie year at least.
Okay. All right. Kevin, chime in. Tell me what your thoughts are.
You know what? I really like Sam Darnold. But I just have to kind of qualify that by saying, I mean, and CJ, you know this, I banged the table for Lamar that season. Sam wasn't even really my first choice. And it was like that the entire time coming up into the draft and everything else. When we picked him, I was okay with it because, you know, I thought Sam was a talented prospect coming out. My brother's been trying to talk sense into me for years about USC quarterbacks. And he continues to tell me that they're just no good and that you can pick one because they ball out in school, but they never, you know, elevate on this level. Carson Palmer's the only one that's ever really had any success other than Jim Plunkett, and Jim Plunkett had one with the Raiders, and other than that, that was kind of it. So, look, this is an issue for me because I am at a point now where, and because I've just kind of had the recent revelations about, you know, how bad I feel like he's been with Adam Gase under his direction, that as much as I do like Sam, I also believe that Sam needs to be with the Steelers right now. Sam needs to go sit behind Ben Roethlisberger or go sit behind Phillip Rivers for a season, not only get his confidence back, but get an opportunity to really be mentored by a seasoned professional who is surrounded by talent. And that's going to allow Sam to step into a situation where he doesn't have to think. He doesn't have to, he doesn't have to mentally battle with, oh my God, how am I going to kill this giant with this slingshot? Because I don't really see Sam Darnold as being that David to the Goliath kind of a quarterback, unfortunately. But that is because he's been playing for the Jets. Now, I just want to keep that in perspective first and foremost, because y'all know I'm a football guy. I played football 20 years, okay? And I try to be real. I try to be realistic about these things. But the fact of the matter is that Sam is in a position now where he is going to be gun shy. And not only is he going to be gun shy a little bit, but he's also trying to do too much in a situation where he's never going to have enough surrounding him to be able to be successful here. Not to mention, organizationally, with Sam as your quarterback next season, which top flight head coach do you really think is going to want to take that job? Again, just being realistic about the jet tax, we're already going to have to spend an exorbitant amount of money to bring somebody in, and then even then, without the lure of Trevor Lawrence, without the lure of being able to do what it is that they're supposed to be doing with that first pick, because you got to think, that means we got the first pick in the second round. It means we got the first pick in the third round. You know what I'm saying? That means all of those high draft picks that we have are going to give that coach that much more flexibility. And without that, I think it's going to be difficult. So I love Sam. I really do. I like Sam. I like the kid's moxie. I like his funk. I just don't think that he has it to be the Jets quarterback right now. I don't think he has it to be the Jets quarterback next season. And while I'm thinking 2 or 3 years down the road, Sam is probably going to end up being a top 15, possibly even higher type quarterback. I don't think that he would be able to reach those heights if he were in green and white. So I like Sam. Sam needs to go. And mind you, this is coming from somebody who really believed that we had a guy. We had the guy. But this organization, even going back to Mark Sanchez, I mean, we put Mark Sanchez in probably the best possible situation ever, and he blew it.
Right.
And he blew it. And then after that,
he got rid of his weapons like Kotchery.
This is true. And that's what I'm saying. Again, that's an organizational thing.
Yep.
Which is why I keep saying.
We replaced Jericho Kotchery with Justin McCarron's.
Yeah.
Derek Mason.
Who?
Yep.
No,
and Derek Mason.
Who?
Derek Mason, yeah.
Yeah, I heard. I don't know who that guy is. Anyways, and then
Wait a second. Derek Mason, the guy who's actually coaching Vanderbilt that got shut out yesterday.
And oh yeah, that's right.
He got fired. He got fired today.
Yeah.
He got fired today.
So then beyond all of that, think about that, because Sanchez blew it. And then what we did, we pulled the rug out from under Geno Smith, even before he had an opportunity to even show if he could actually be the quarterback. And then we drafted the kid from Penn State, and then Fitz did what it is that he did coming here.
Hackenberg should never have been drafted in the first place.
That's
because the only reason why they drafted him was because they were having a contract issue with Fitzpatrick. That was the stupidest thing that McCagnon ever did. Oh yeah, you don't want to sign to our terms? Okay, I'm going to draft this quarterback, kid from Penn State.
Then actually pick a guy that's worth actually being worried about. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right, exactly. Then don't pick a guy who's an absolute fucking scrub.
Look, just because he has the right jawline and the right height doesn't make him a quarterback. And Christian Hackenberg was never a quarterback ever. I just couldn't see it. But see, then again, that goes to my point. Organizationally, we haven't had the guys in position to make those decisions and to make them correctly. Nor have we had the guys to be able to build what we need and how we need since going back to when Parcells was here. And that goes to my point. Organizationally, we haven't Terry Bradway and all those guys. So I mean, come on now. This is a horrible situation that we're in right now.
No.
But this, I think, is a situation where, and I say this all the time, and I'm hoping for once, and I'm going to cross my fingers, I'm hoping that I'm right. This is the time when we actually kind of need to have patience. I know it's hard to ask for patience when we've been so bad for so long, but I think now is the time.
No, you can't do it.
I had patience like 3 years ago when they started the rebuild.
It was gone.
I
said that after Idzik too. Yeah, I said that after Idzik too. And I'm reminding myself. I said that same thing after we hired Izzy. But because we had so many picks, and you look at that draft, and you're like, oh, you know what? He brought some guys, and he brought some guys that did some things in college. They were all bad football players on this level, all of them.
Well, you know, like you said, the USC guys, like USC quarterbacks, are not good. Penn State people are not that great either. Let me tell you, if you talk to a Penn State alumni person that went to the school, you tell, oh yeah, that guy, he sucked. No, he didn't. He was great for Penn State. I didn't say anything about him playing for Penn State. I'm talking about him as an NFL player. Yeah. He sucked.
Yes.
Who was the last guy that we took with the first #1 overall pick who came out of Penn State and he was a running back, and I already forgot his name?
Wow.
Blair Thomas.
Blair? Yeah, Blair Thomas.
That's right,
Thomas.
the Blair Thomas project. The Blair Thomas. And what did he do for the Jets? Nothing. All that hype for nothing.
Who's the guy that got drafted by the Bengals? Carter, Kajana Carter. There's another one.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Kajana Carter was a absolute bust.
Jeff Blake.
Huge arm.
Jeff Blake was backing up who? Friggin' Tony Eason for a little while.
Oh, God.
Golly. That's just bad. Like,
those are no schools.
Floyd Taylor. Yeah.
Stay away from certain schools, right? Stay away from certain schools. But just all Alabama, Florida State, Florida, Miami, you know, just
Well, you want to know something? A lot of people laughed at me when I had said, "Yo, I think the Jets should make a trade for AJ McCarron from the Bengals."
Wow.
But you know what? I mean, he was ruined over there. But at that point, it's just like, what the fuck you got to lose?
Yeah, he was sitting on the bench, right? And I mean, what we were trotting out Chris Sims at the time. Is that what we were doing then? So yeah, come
yes,
on,
we were.
As much as I like Chris Sims,
because of the
as much as I like Chris Sims, no.
CJ only wants AJ McCarron because of his wife. He wants to see her in the stands.
No.
It's fine. All right, so
hey, at least he won.
All right.
So
yeah, we're breaking a little bit. Excuse me.
But yeah, I'm having intermittent power flashes over here in the in Central Florida. So Florida FPL. I don't know what the hell they got going on over here.
Yeah.
So, all right, Mark.
I just wanted to touch on one.
As we swing up to you, what do you think for Darnold? You think he's here, or you think he's gone, and where do you think he goes next year?
First of all, I would not do anything as far as release him. He's a guy that isn't going to warrant a lot of money, at least if we choose to re-sign him. Or I think as long as we hold the cards on him, I think he hasn't done enough to where he can dictate terms or anything. So I would hold on to him. Look, here's the thing. Whether it's Trevor Lawrence or whether it's Sam Darnold, you need a coach that knows what he's doing and come in. And Harbaugh's the perfect example. Alex Smith was about the worst quarterback you could imagine in 2011 when Harbaugh came over. And he turned, Harbaugh 1 year. They went to 13-3. They beat the Saints in one of the best playoff games ever, where Smith led 2 game-winning drives in the last couple of minutes, and really should have beaten the Giants to go to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, you can get a guy like that if you have a coach who knows what he's doing. You look at how Parcells turned everything around when he came in. Guys that weren't good the year before turned into be good players. Everybody knew their role. When you don't have that, everything looks so much worse. So whether it's drafting Trevor Lawrence, who, regardless, if you draft Trevor Lawrence and you give him this, he's going to suck.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yep.
So it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
And that's why whether it's Trevor Lawrence or whether it's Sam Darnold, I think they could win with both. But unless you have, right now we have a general manager who, the other thing too, guys, is the weirdest thing ever was McCagnon being allowed to handle the offseason signings and the draft and then being fired. No sense. Only the Jets would do that. Okay.
That's how it is.
Then it's just right there. You might as well just, crash the car because it's already ruined. And this year with COVID, this was a weird year. I love the signing of C.J. Mosley. He's one of the best linebackers in football. You saw just from the one quarter he played. I mean, the guy like basically dominated the whole game.
Yeah.
So he's only played like one half for the Jets. All right.
3/4.
So I think
He's
he
played 3
comes
quarters.
back,
No, he's played.
Yeah.
No, he did because that's what he got.
16-0, and then he left the game, and then they wind up losing. The game I've seen like a million times in my lifetime as a Jet fan. So I think that if you have this next coach, okay, they can't. I'm so sick of them missing and not getting their the right guy. I mean, if you can't decipher these guys, the Johnsons supposedly built this freaking powerhouse of an organization in Johnson & Johnson, which to me, I don't understand how they even, got past, the testing stage of baby powder if they, with what they're doing so far.
I don't even know how they survive puberty, let alone the testing
really.
stage of baby powder.
I mean, the Koch brothers must really have a dartboard with their faces on it. I mean, give me a break. They are so bad at building a football franchise because they haven't hired good football people to run the franchise. Douglas is the first guy that seems like he could do it.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
This is the situation.
Exactly.
This is the
And
situation.
then have a guy like trust. That don't. I hate that going. I wouldn't if I had to hire somebody to clean my house. I'm not going to say, CJ, you put together a group, a committee, and then you give me a guy. No way, because it's my house. I'm going to make sure they know every nook and cranny. I'm going to make sure that they know every little detail because they're representing me. So I would not trust that to anybody else. If it's my franchise, I'm going to get my guy who's doing what I want him to do, who's a winner and who absolutely will not make excuses or settle for any of this crap that we've seen this entire last 50 years. Okay. When we're in the same class as the Detroit Lions, who have been around since 1930 and have never had back-to-back seasons of 10 wins, when you consider the fact that the Jets and the Lions are the only two franchises since the merger to not win at least 4 divisions. Lions have won 3, Jets have won 2. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah.
That's just freaking failure.
Yep.
Failure.
See, this is the problem with the Johnsons. This is the problem with the Johnsons. The Johnsons actually treat their football team like it's a regular business, like their pharmaceutical business. That's the problem. The problem is they're not really football guys. This is why they have it structured like this. They don't want to have real football people in the organization to run their football team. If they allowed that, things would be different.
Though. They don't know any better.
Different because
But
they still have
don't
the
know any
power
better.
structure. The power structure is coach can report to me, general manager separately. You report to me.
Yeah,
That's
but
what it is. That's
why
what
get into it then?
It's been really.
Daniel, why get into it? Why buy a team if you were going to try and run it the way you want? If you can't run this like it's Johnson & Johnson, you have to.
Exactly. No, exactly what I'm saying. This is the wrong thing to do. We're both in agreement here. This is
Right.
the wrong thing to do. This is an absolutely wrong thing to do. That's what I've been arguing about. They don't know how to separate their regular business from their NFL business. That's the problem. If
Right.
they would just allow their general manager, whoever the general manager is, not Idzik, because he's just a penny pincher. If you would just allow your general manager who knows the NFL, who knows how to wheel and deal, who knows how to draft, who knows how to do all the things an NFL team knows how to do, like you just said, CJ, a long time ago, 100 years and over, then maybe you wouldn't be such a laughing stock in the entire NFL. This is why Woody Johnson, I give him credit for this. This is why I give him credit, Woody Johnson. He realized he made a mistake when he hired John Idzik as a regular hiring search, not doing it the way he should. Now, he didn't do it the right way, but at least he allowed former NFL GMs to help him make the decisions to bring over Mike Maccagnan and Todd Bowles. I give him credit for that. Christopher Johnson does not know what he's doing. Christopher Johnson is a gullible piece of crap because he's taking over for Woody because he's doing his ambassadorship in the United Kingdom for our government. Christopher Johnson, I want to make sure I say it correctly. Christopher Johnson is a fraud owner, a fake owner who just assumes he knows what the fuck is going on. And he has no goddamn clue. And he gets a fucking phone call from Peyton Manning, and the words of gold are coming out of his mouth. And he's sitting there listening to an NFL quarterback. Oh, this guy you should hire. Look what he did for my stats and my throwing. Look what he's done for me in Denver. I won a Super Bowl with them. This is the guy you want to help Sam Darnold. You know what, Peyton Manning? You didn't want to come here when you were still in Tennessee. You still don't want to come here because of how Chad Pennington kicked your ass in the playoffs. Now, all of a sudden, you're trying to inform the Jets, oh, you should take my guy who helped me out. Why don't you come over and be the head coach of this goddamn football team? Why don't you
21-0.
come over here and show us how it's done? Because all you've done is just become a fraud, a fake, and just a big phony of words that you don't even know what you're doing. Stick to your commercials. Stick to your commercials for life insurance or for the NFL and DirecTV. Because if you don't want to come here your fucking self to turn the New York Jets around, then you should not even be considered a voice of reason.
Chris Johnson is probably the type of guy that's, sat on business meetings and probably read guys and thought that, he's making a great decision. But you're not going to be able to do that in a football environment, obviously.
Exactly.
Peyton Manning, if nobody understands this, Peyton Manning hates the Jets. So, I mean, let's just keep it realistic. Before the draft, when Peyton Manning was coming out, he was very clear about not wanting to play for the Jets. So whoever forgot that Peyton Manning hates the Jets and decided to go ahead and make that decision obviously doesn't know anything about football or history. Hence, here comes Chris Johnson. So, look, the Johnsons themselves, these guys don't have any vested interest in what type of product it is that they're going out on the field. You can tell that by them having to pay a ridiculous lawsuit because of the type of products that they sell for people to put in their bodies. They don't care. It makes money, and that's all that they're worried about. Now, at this point, they're going to start losing. They're going to start hemorrhaging money now. Because I'm going to tell you right now, this is one of the last pieces of Jets merch that I bought. And to be perfectly honest with you, until something changes, it's going to remain one of the very last pieces of Jets merch that I will buy. Because look, I've already told you how many times already. I was going to buy that jet black Braden Mann jersey. I'm telling you, it's still on deck because I got a feeling he's going to be here, but I'm not buying it until after I see what the hell it is that these guys are going to do over the course of the next. And maybe, to be honest with you, if depending upon what we look like going into 2022, it's going to say a lot about really how long this process is going to be. I also kind of want to throw this out because it was interesting what Mark was saying about keep Sam Darnold. And I mean, I know going into the draft, we're probably going to look to sell him, to try to trade him because the trade value over the course of these next few seasons is going to be huge. It's going to be something that's going to help Joe Douglas build the foundation through the draft. But I mean, what really would be the likelihood of us keeping Sam and still drafting Trevor Lawrence? Now, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm not saying that I believe that's what's going to happen, but would Sam be the type of guy that could be decent enough insurance to allow Trevor to kind of get acclimated to the league? And I mean, maybe not necessarily start the season as a rookie, but, maybe that third, fourth game, depending upon when they drop the bye week, would Sam be the guy that you would say, okay, I feel confident in giving him the reins for these few weeks and letting Trevor kind of get acclimated? Because both of these quarterbacks are going to be learning a new system because Adam Gase is probably going to get shot into the moon 5 seconds after the season is over. If Joe Douglas has anything to do with it, and he's not, I'm going to have to start questioning Joe Douglas. But that to me is kind of a good question to ask. Because the way that Sam is playing, are we even going to get a third rounder for him? I mean, it's realistic to say that every team that's going to want to negotiate with Joe is going to say, yeah, Sam Darnold was a pretty good talent, but right now we're gonna have to completely, we're gonna have to break him and reset him, because that's the only way we're gonna be able to do anything to get him back on a level, where he'll be able to be productive. So I mean, we've got some questions.
They'll still get a second rounder for him.
You know what? I'm hoping that you're right, CJ. I'm gonna keep that real. I really do hope that you're right. But from what I saw today,
because remember, we had Errol Marks on this show last week. Okay, and Errol Marks came out and said that the Indianapolis Colts are chomping at the bit. They are waiting for the season to end because they have every intention of pursuing Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
From the new, they have every intention of acquiring Sam Darnold from the New York Jets. And if I'm Joe Douglas, one of the first things that I'm doing, and this is what I've said this on plenty of different podcasts, broadcasts, etc. Before we could even think about getting rid of Sam Darnold, trading this player, trading that player, who are we going to target in the draft? What are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about that? Adam Gase has to get the fuck out of here. There needs to be in big, bold letters on ESPN. Breaking news, Adam Gase is fired. Adam Gase has been relieved of his duties as New York Jets head coach. Greg Williams has been fired. Darryl Loggins has been fired. Jim Bob Cooter has been fired. I want a fucking headline for every single coach on the New York Jets coaching staff. And until that happens, even if the Jets do draft Trevor Lawrence, they're going to find a way to fuck that up too.
Exactly.
CJ, just to go on to what you just said, look at the Eagles. They won the Super Bowl with Frank Reich as the offensive coordinator, as the quarterbacks coach. And since then, what has the Eagles done? Nothing. Doug Peterson is basically, paddling without an oar.
Right.
And Frank Reich right now has, basically turned around Phillip Rivers in Indianapolis. They're doing very well. Not that they would never do well in the South, but the point is, Frank Reich knows quarterbacks. Frank Reich knows how to develop quarterbacks. Frank Reich doesn't assume he knows how to develop quarterbacks, unlike this head coach assumes. Frank Reich, if he was available, I would have contacted the Eagles and say, you know what, I want Frank Reich as my head coach. Okay, you can interview him. You do.
Yep.
The Jets say yes, bring him over.
Frank Reich,
they didn't do that. They even had Bieniemy in the building before they brought over Adam Gase and said, you know what, we're going to take him instead.
And they had.
I want him too. I would like to have him over here.
Matt Rule, they had him in the building.
Exactly.
Oh God.
And they had the fucking Packers call up Mike McCarthy, call up McCagnon when Mike McCarthy was in the building. No, don't take him.
Yeah.
Don't take him. He's not worth it. He's not worth this. He's not worth that. Fine.
So they had Matt Rule in the building. They had Todd Monken in the building. Who else did they have? They had the enemy in the building.
They had everyone.
Did they have Cliff Kingsbury in the building too?
Yep. And look what he's doing in Arizona.
They had Vince Lombardi in the building.
He's been in the building since Super Bowl.
I heard he goes to Weed Eubank too.
Yeah. Who? I never heard of Weed Eubank.
Right.
I'll tell you guys something funny, okay? 2002, I'm at the game 2 against the Patriots after the Patriots won the Super Bowl the year before, with the whole tuck rule and everything. I'm convinced that Tom Brady is a fraud. I'm convinced that after beating the Bills on opening day, where Chad Morton returned 2 kicks and they beat Drew Bledsoe in his debut game for the Bills, the Jets are going to win and take over in 2002. They're much better than the Patriots. Brady isn't the real thing, whatever. So I go to the game. 44-7 is the final score. And to add insult to injury, Victor Green runs back Testaverde interception for a touchdown for the Patriots. Victor Green was one of my favorite Jets out of Akron. Okay? I love Victor Green. All right? I said after that game, I said, you know what? What the fuck am I doing? Why am I ruining my Sunday to go and sit in traffic for 4 hours, cross the Tappan Zee with the rest of the miserable people who are just pissed off as I am because they just sat and watched crap for 3.5 hours. I'm never doing this again. And I'm never giving a dime. I don't have any Jet merch. Just the thought of it makes me sick. Any caps, because I refuse to. Because I've been teased and taken from my whole life with this franchise. All they've done is embarrass me. So never again with that. I said I'm never coming back here until they appear in an AFC Championship game. That was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've been begged to go to games. When I was married, my wife used to get tickets from ABC, and she used to beg me. She used to go with her friends. Say, I know I'm not going. I have learned my lesson. I got to stick to this, and I did. And I will never, God forbid if they ever, look, them and the Titans are the only two teams with the Lions, the only teams that have not hosted a championship game. Even the Browns have, for crying out loud.
Wow, yeah.
All right. So that's amazing since the merger. They've never hosted an AFC Championship game. That is absolutely unacceptable.
Should have won the comeback game against the Steelers, but thanks to Brian Schottenheimer.
Well, yeah, but then they had the game. Yeah, look, they've had games.
Too late.
The Dolphins game, 14-0. The game in Denver. I was so excited at one point in that Denver game when they were up 10-0. I was so excited. I literally did not know what to do with myself.
I know what you mean.
I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know where to sit down, come downstairs, go get a drink. But I didn't know what to do. I said, oh, my God, are we going to be in the Super Bowl playing the Falcons? Holy cow.
Yeah.
This is too good to be true.
TJ knows this about me. My history with the watching the team live is different, I think, than probably most anyone. Because I've been to more than 10 games. And obviously I live in Georgia now, so it's not always as easy for me to get to games, but I've been to multiple games and I've never seen the Jets lose live ever. Wow. Every game that I've ever bought a ticket for and gone to, the Jets have won. Now, mind you, the last few games that and excuse me, I was in MetLife when Fitzpatrick hit Decker in the end zone and we beat the Patriots. And I tell you right now, I couldn't talk for a week. I screamed the entire voice box out of my face. I yelled and screamed, and I was yelling all the way home. Before that, the games I had gone to, I was at the perfect game in Miami when Geno played, and I was in Atlanta when they beat Atlanta. And I remember almost getting jumped on the train because I was talking cash shit on the way home. I'm telling you, I was talking a lot of shit in Atlanta. And I had big Jets jersey on in the whole nine, and it was rough. But I've never seen the Jets lose live, so I'm afraid to go to another game. I'm serious. I don't want to mess the streak up, and we don't look good enough for me to invest that money. There's been times where I've been, look, I'll buy you a ticket, come. No, that's all right. I don't want to mess it up.
Jet game. My very first Jet game live was at the original Giants Stadium against the Green Bay Packers. This was when Ken O'Brien was still the quarterback of the Jets.
16-13 in overtime.
Yeah.
They won in overtime that game. Yeah.
And the Wesley Walker Hail Mary grab in the end zone.
Yeah.
That wasn't Walker. That was Terrence Mathis.
Oh, that was Terrence Mathis? I thought it was Wesley Walker. Okay. I thought it was
no, I remember that game. Don Mikowski.
I gotta go look it up.
I was in the mezzanine. Actually. I know someone was laid flat on their back in the end zone. It went through the ball went through 4 Packer defenders, and somehow the ball was caught by a Jet in the end zone.
It was either Terrence Mathis or Chris Burkett. I'm not sure, but it wasn't
No,
Walker.
it might have been Burkett, actually. No, I think you're right. It might be Chris Burkett. You're probably right about that. Chris Burkett. So, I mean, that was just an amazing game at halftime. I know that tied the game up 14-all. I think, 14, 13, 10 all, 13 all, something like that. But yeah,
there's a wide variety of Jets history on the connection with us tonight, guys. And again, I just want to say I'm thankful that you guys are here. We definitely appreciate you coming on and jumping on with us. I'm a little nervous, man, to be honest with you, because we went into this season with this hope, and I say it every year. To be a Jets fan, we shouldn't have expectations. Expectations are dangerous when you're a Jets fan. Having
I know.
hope is something else. And I think that's what keeps most of us as being Jets fans. We have hope that, at some point, the little light's going to come on. Somebody's going to flip the switch and all the roaches are going to run. And we're going to be like, oh, okay, there it is.
No, I lost that hope a long
And
time
we'll
ago.
see. And right now, until there's until somebody puts another light bulb in, I don't trust we're going to be able to see anything. Adam Gase, we jokingly say that he's going to be fired, but is that the reality? Everybody always says, "Oh yeah, we love him. He's the guy."
I don't joke
I
about
think
it. I want him gone.
yeah. Look, I'm gonna speak to just again being devil's advocate, but
No, I understand that.
if they don't fire him, they have just solidified that they're not going to get any more money from me. But if they do decide to keep him, how does that change the entire dynamic? Because you figure if they
You're a factory of sadness.
yeah, exactly. But if they do keep him, Joe Douglas is probably still going to do everything that he was planning on doing in the draft.
I couldn't picture a world that cruel.
They'll bring in Trevor Lawrence if he's smart. They may actually go after Etienne with that second first round pick, knowing that we're going to have immediate turnaround to the very first pick in the second round again. So you're talking about those two picks within the first 33. Those three upper echelon players within that first 33. So I mean maybe he doesn't take Etienne with that second first round, and maybe he does it with the first pick in the second. Because
That's being a jackass.
Yeah, but I mean, the possibilities are endless, and even if they do keep Adam Gase, I think it makes it saves us from having to pay $100 million for a coach like the Raiders did for John Gruden, because that's really what it is that we're going to have to do to draw a top flight coach that actually has any pedigree here. We're going to go into next season. Maybe.
No, God!
Yeah, I'm really.
No, God, please, no, no, no.
We don't know. I'm afraid right now.
I'm not paying $100 million for a retread. No way.
Look, the Raiders paid him $100 million, and then they went and got Mike Mayock. And Mike Mayock has done some things, you know what I'm saying, over there, and brought some personnel in. He also made that move to get rid of Khalil Mack, and they ended up using that on the running back and Max Crosby. Isn't that what they did? So he actually turned that into some productive, on field, productivity. But is Joe Douglas that type of guy? Is he the type of guy that would do that? We don't know. Is Trevor Lawrence going to be the end all be all? Hell no. Obviously not. Anybody that thinks Trevor Lawrence is the magic pill that's going to change the course of the franchise.
The Jets have way too many holes.
I think those are the types of fans that we end up arguing with on Twitter. Don't make logical arguments.
Michelle Johnson said on ESPN in the morning, that new show he does in the morning. He goes, "Why are you even thinking about quarterback? You got too many holes on this team that you got to fill."
Talking about that when we drafted Sam. Said the same thing when we drafted Sam.
Yeah, I know.
There's still too many holes. So I mean, logically, we're in the same spot. Yeah,
that's right. We are.
So, all right, guys, we're gonna wrap up tonight's episode of Weapons Hot, a New York Jets broadcast here. Mr. Feuerstein, give out your social media information so fans of Weapons Hot can follow you and interact with you, etc.
Okay, well, obviously on Twitter, it's capital letter D, capital letter F, lowercase EUER, S is in Sam, not for Donald, FEUERSTEIN.
All righty, Mr. Kelly, please give out your social media information so fans of Weapons Hot can reach out to you and they can interact with you, follow you, etc. And also, most of all, especially being part of the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, how can fans find you?
Yeah, well, I write for Worldwide Sports Radio Network. I do a segment every Monday called Mark It Up with Arrow Marks and Speedy Petey on the Down to the Wire show. It's on from 6 to 8 Eastern time. I also am on a local show here in Alabama on TV on Wednesday nights where I talk SEC basketball. And probably basketball when it starts football, I do now. And then you can find me on Parler because I don't do Twitter anymore. I've absolutely had it with social media as well as all of mainstream media. So I am on Facebook as well. CK Magic Sports is where you can find me. And also My website is ckmagicsports.com, where you can find all of my over 200 podcasts, over 600 articles, and my book called My Scars Tell a Story on overcoming my battle with cancer.
All righty. So, gentlemen, I'd like to thank the both of you for coming on. And, of course, you guys can follow Weapons Hot on Twitter at CNC Jets Factor. You can follow me at JetsFan0523. My partner in crime, right at the bottom of your screen, Mr. Kevin Jackson at Spotty Blackman. Yeah. See, he hasn't been here. I totally forgot about him. You see that? So this is what happens when you're MIA. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So shoot the show an email at weaponshotpodcast@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook page. Don't forget to check us out there. Like our page, subscribe to it. Our content is up there. Message us, we'll message you right back. We love going back and forth with fans about the state of this franchise. Also, leave us some feedback because we love to hear what you guys think that we're doing here on Weapons Hot. Also, you can find us on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network every Sunday night at 7 p.m. right here, as well as finding us on Sports War Radio at www.spreaker.com/Sports War Radio. And, of course, the aforementioned Snowman Digital Media. Just search up Google Play or whatever podcast or broadcast app that you have. Just type in Weapons Hot, and you will be able to find all of our past content. Also, don't forget to download the Worldwide Sports Radio Network app. You can find it on Google Play if you have an Android. You could also find it at the Apple Store if you have an Apple. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Daniel Feuerstein, Mr. Mark Kelly, and my partner in crime and my right-seater, Mr. Kevin Jackson. Ladies, make sure you write that down in your book. This is CJ the Painkiller D. Simone signing off for tonight. We will see you guys when we see you guys. Peace, love, go Jets. And, of course, as always, I leave you guys tonight with still, in my opinion, is the best chant in the National Football League. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week. Be safe.
Deuces.